And welcome back. We have another phenomenal referral partner with us today. Mark is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and you will understand why once we get into this interview, I promise you. So, Mark, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So remember, everybody, you've got to wait until the end. Like Mark has got an amazing, amazing gift for you. You don't want to miss it. He is one of the most highly efficient NLP practitioners I think I've ever met in my entire life. I've met people that do NLP a lot, and I can tell you, like, I've never met anybody that does NLP the way that he does NLP. So this free gift that he has that he's going to be saving till the end, trust me, you don't want to miss it. Okay. So Mark, so tell us more about like NLP. Like this is such an interesting type of training that you've gone through that you train other people in. And it's one of the spaces that people can either use it for the power of good and the power of evil. So like, tell us more about like what NLP is and what got you started in it in the first place.
Well, for starters, NLP is something that was developed in the late 70s or early 70s uh, with the intention of trying to model the behavior of people who are successful in different areas. And as it blossomed, as they started to discover more people that were doing great things and trying to model it, they realized like we can have like profound effects in all sorts of areas of people's life. And they just continued to grow it. And uh, it is I wouldn't say that people have criticized it as being a pseudoscience. What it is a bunch of different scientific thoughts, ideas, and techniques put in together in a functional and intentional way in order to get fast results and deep results and lasting results for people in order to live a better life or to achieve the things that they want to achieve. And and do so in a way that doesn't take an extremely long time. Like the results that you get, like we've talked about it. Like some of the results that you get are like immediate. Like it's unconscious work. So when you're having these breakthroughs and whatever, we're doing it at an unconscious level. So the unconscious is reprogramming itself immediately after you make these realizations. And the result is unconscious change that you become consciously aware of rather than the opposite, where you, in typical therapy, you have to become consciously aware of something and then consciously choose to do something different. And that can be difficult, where this is changing the way that you're wired so that you become aware that you're doing something differently and it's more healthy.
I love that. And for the majority of people, they really don't know what their subconscious is actually triggering them to do. It's just been such a repetitive behavior for so long. It's like sometimes just breaking down those belief systems is, really scary for some people. So like, somebody's coming to you that they're like, "Hey, listen, I know I need to change, but like what's the best thing that you could say to someone that is in that understanding of I know I need to change this, but they hit you with the but there's always this reason on why not to."
Well, that's essentially goes back to the communication model of NLP. There's rules, there's excuses, there's like things that people uh, have in their mind, or unconsciously they're driven in some sort of manner as a result of the things that they're struggling with. So the but is something that shows up at the conscious level. Maybe it's because of this excuse or this responsibility or that responsibility, but all those things are tied to something much deeper that uh, with the communication model within NLP, a few simple questions, and I can get to the root of what that really is, and then you can see like what's really going on, especially with people who are like they have goals, but they don't achieve them, or they start out, again, January 1st, everybody's in the gym. By the 14th, pretty much everybody that started on the first is out of the gym and they don't go back. It's because they're unconscious and their conscious are not aligned. And a lot of different coaching styles don't have the techniques that this does in order to get to the root of what is causing that disconnect, that the conscious mind is what we're using. We're setting our goals based on the the issues that we're having that we're trying to resolve right now. Uh, but the unconscious mind will sabotage those goals if it doesn't align with what it believes you need. And so it's about asking the right questions to get down to that root cause, to know what what is really the problem here and what is going to solve it. And when people have buts and ifs and shoulds and coulds and whatever, we you it's a result of something that is misaligned with their conscious and unconscious. So I guess that's what I would say.
That's awesome. I really love that because we always have excuses. It's always easy to come up with an excuse on why we're not going to do something. And usually it's a piss poor excuse. We know this, right? We're always taking the oh well, let's push the blame on somebody else. So I would want to do this, but like I also have this other thing that I have to do for this person, or I have this that I have to do. And it's always about that like kind of like self-sacrificing, like, oh, it's not about me, it's about all these other people. And that's a good way for people to kind of keep in that cocoon inside of themselves. But the one thing that I have to say is like, you don't just do NLP. So why
Right.
don't you tell us more about what it is that you do? Because you like I'm the brain unfucker. You do the same in a very different way. Like you have this like way of like coming in and having a multitude of different things that not only do you do for your clients, but you also teach other people how to do this and how to bring this into their business. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. So the training that I received, the certifications that I have, and the certifications that I provide for others are NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and then neuro-linguistic programming coaching, and then timeline techniques and hypnotherapy. And timeline techniques, I had no idea what it was when I signed up for the training. I just knew I wanted NLP because, to go back to your first question, I got started in NLP or introduced to it in a sales training, and it blew my mind. And I said that I had to learn more about it sometime, and then I got the opportunity. So I went into this training fully focused on NLP, and I wanted to become a coach, so that was great too. But uh, timeline techniques I had never heard of, and I thought, well, hypnosis would be pretty cool. Um, Timeline techniques like took my life and like shook me like upside down and had all the garbage come like falling out of my pockets. And I had never experienced anything like that. I'd never heard of anything like that, and it was so easy and so fast. I was astonished. And as I started moving forward in life after that training, as I said to you, you start noticing yourself behaving differently and in a healthier way. And like for the next 9 months, I was having all sorts of interactions with people that I wasn't triggered like I was. I was doing things differently that were serving me, and I was having more success in some of the things I was doing. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I have to do this for other people. But so timeline techniques, I refer to it as kind of like a shadow technique, where you're helping your client. You discover the root cause of whatever problem it is that they're having, and then going back to that moment and revisiting it and learning what you didn't know at the time in order to release the emotional hold and the beliefs surrounding that moment that were created that are not serving you anymore. And um, you we don't when we're most of these experiences are extremely early in our childhood, like prior to 3 months, and maybe even into the womb, and there are more examples too, but uh, we do not have the frame of reference to understand the things that are happening around us when we are like really young, but our unconscious mind associates a meaning to it in order to keep us safe. And then when we have similar experiences in the future, we associate the same emotions, the same meaning to them, and then it just continues to build. And over time, that first moment just works as like a bucket full of energy that we tap into every time we have a similar experience. And we bring all that energy from the past to the present, and we don't respond healthy in accordance to the experience we're having. We're responding to our past trauma. And
Mm.
so this kind of like just cuts the tie between it, lets all that energy go, and now you're free to be a healthier, less stressed, less volatile version of yourself. And then as far as hypnotherapy, hypnotherapy is amazing. And I would say that I use timeline techniques much further, but what I didn't realize when I learned like or when I signed up to learn hypnosis was the hypnotic language patterns and how like powerful and influential they are just in common conversation, because I can make a suggestion to somebody just in conversation that they don't really pick up on consciously, but they start thinking about it in their unconscious picks it up, and it's like giving them permission to consider something else. And the conscious mind is like, you're focused on like the camera here looking at you, and the unconscious mind is going, I wonder if that could be true. And then it goes looking to see if it's right. And then you sooner or later, boom, all of a sudden you have this revelation. And um and that's because of the power of suggestion. And when used in like a positive way, you can really create like um amazing change in people. It's also great for sales, for public speaking, and anybody who's doing consulting or anything like that, because like when you meet people's resistance, hypnotic language patterns allow you to get beyond that conscious resistance and and really allow yourself to not only gain rapport with the person, but then allow them to consider the possibilities that they otherwise wouldn't. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Actually, you went like literally dovetailed beautifully directly into my next question, which was, there's so many people out there that are obviously the people in my audience are coaches and consultants. So, there's so many people that are using NLP practices and hypnosis practices in being able to use it in sales techniques. So, what's the difference between a standard person that's teaching just NLP for sales compared to the way that you teach NLP to people so that they can use it in sales, but that it's predominantly like it's somewhat different. Like it's not just like, oh, here, it's just for sales. The way that you package it is different. So can you tell us a little bit about how you package that and how that actually helps coaches and consultants?
Sure. So uh, a lot of NLP sales is just about getting beyond the no, right? A lot of sales techniques are all about going through this long, drawn out process to check all the boxes and corner the client into, or the potential client into, a place where they can't say no. And often once they get there, they feel like um, they feel like they're boxed in, they feel resistant, and then you're like forced to make the sale, or so they either make the sale and they regret it, or they resent you for it, or they end up turning around and you're canceling the sale, or they don't have success because they're carrying this resistance into whatever you've sold them, and so they're not um, their energy is so focused on the feeling of like being forced into this sale that they don't have the experience that you really want to give them. So the way I teach NLP, it's all about building rapport, and like again, NLP is a do with process. It's not a do to. When you're doing to, you're still going to end up you're creating that sense of resistance in a client. When you utilize NLP the right way, in an ecological way, which is like what I really, really focus on. Ecological being you good for them, good for the people around them, good for uh, the the neighborhood, whatever, and good for the world. Like there's four levels, and if that matches, if that's all lined up, then it's the right thing to do. Um, you we look to create win-wins. Like win-lose is a truly a lose-lose for anybody in a situation in sales like that. So I come at it ethically and ecologically, and we work a lot on building or like the process of building and then the value of building rapport. Because the other thing is you want referrals after you're done too, and somebody that you box into a corner is never going to refer you to anybody.
Oh, totally agreed. Totally agreed. And I have to say, like, the things that I love about you and the way that you teach different practices or even just incorporate different practices into what it is that you do, like, I have to say, like, I went to your events and, I'm a little stubborn. I'm not gonna lie, I think we know this about me, right? So like, I have this like huge stubborn streak in me of like, well, sometimes I just won't allow myself to break down. I won't allow myself to, cross that boundary of, going into a vulnerable space because, what I had been taught like my whole life is when you're vulnerable, you're gonna get hurt, right? So
Mm.
like whether it be physically or emotionally hurt, you're gonna get hurt. And so like the thing that I really loved is like, the way that you and kind of like cut through all that noise for me in that event it was just phenomenal, and it just like it made me want to say like, okay, when you're training people, like I need to be in your next training, so that's why I'm in your next training, which is coming up. When was it again? It starts pretty soon,
Uh,
doesn't it?
yes, it starts on the 8th of November.
Oh yeah, so it's like right around the corner. So like, can you
Yep.
tell people a little bit about what that event looks like? Because like I'm super excited. I'm getting myself certified in NLP, hypnotherapy, and timeline work as well because I know that it's going to help me in my coaching practice, and I know it's going to help me help my clients better. So can you tell people a little bit more about what that event looks like, what that training looks like? Because I know it's like ample. Like I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, this thing is ample as fuck, and we're not even all the way into it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it starts the 8th of November, finishes up on January 3rd. We I'm doing it differently. Typically, in the past, I had done 7 days of training that were live virtual, and it was like 3 days, a 3 day weekend followed by a 4 day weekend. Now I'm taking those traditional days and turning it into a week's worth of video training that you can watch at your own pace each week. So the first week is the first day's worth of material. You watch at your own pace. And on the following Saturday, we have a review, a Q&A, and then a practice session. And then we release the next week's material, and we go forward in that manner until we get to the end. And I also include, which I haven't talked about yet, is I also include with it training in the 6 basic human needs, which is really powerful, and it really blends well with the NLP practitioner training. And in fact, I think it just makes you even more powerful as a practitioner when you know this. So I've included this. Actually, to go into a little more depth with that, I my first few trainings, I poured my heart into all my clients, and as we were going forward, and I was helping them with different things. I noticed that they weren't picking up on some of the things that I was, and uh, I continued to try to figure out what exactly that was, and then all of a sudden I realized like I had been taught the 6 human needs a long time ago, and it had become just second nature to me, and most of my clients had never heard about it. So they were blind to that, and so that's when I realized the importance of including it, and so that's part of the training as well.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, to just summarize that, there's a kickoff meeting, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern on Saturday, the 8th. That's when we kick off. And then it'll be about a 2 hour call probably. And then from that point on, you get the first week's training. And the following Saturday, it's 2 to 3 hours starting at the same time. And that's the cadence for the rest of the training.
That's amazing. I mean, honestly, I think that like I know I'm super excited to join into this, and anyone that has any interest, definitely connect with Mark and reach out to him for this because I'm telling you, like what I experienced in your event was not like anything that I've ever experienced, which obviously I'm not going to get in depth talking about it because it was my personal experience, but
Yep.
I've never experienced anything like that. And I've gone through a shit ton of workshops and events and, all of the things for the past, like, 15 years. And I can say I've never experienced something like I experienced in that room. So that like made
Yeah.
me realize like how powerful these tools actually really are.
Yeah, yeah. So just so people understand, that was a 4-day personal development event that I put together,
Hmm.
and it's not like a mastermind. It's not like a conference. Like it's the work. And I remember one of my former attendees who left a testimonial for me. She's like, a lot of people tell you that you have to do the work and all of this kind of stuff, but they don't tell you like how to do the work. And she's like, this event, and she refers to me personally too, but this is my how. And it's about you systematically you breaking down all these little barriers uh, uh, to change in a way that even the most stubborn you can't avoid. Like, right, you start I you teach people things, you coach them, educate them, and then we do some pretty awesome work. And like the way that I do it, I think is a way that breaks down people's resistance to the point where they can't resist because they've already accepted what I've taught them to be true. And so yeah, it's just uh I think it's a really powerful experience. But they're coming back to, I learned a lot of what I needed in order to do that from my NLP training.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to do that event at all. So if other
Yeah.
people are doing events as well, this training is going to help them tremendously in that area as well, because it's and it's going to help you in every area of your life, even your relationships and uh anywhere that you're communicating with somebody, it's going to help you.
Oh, without question, without question. Like a lot of people think of like, the stuff that you learn for your business is just going to kind of just help your business. But no, it actually like really helps you personally, like break through a lot of those barriers and a lot of those questions. And, it's like I said, like you said, is, some people are stubborn. I'm just gonna say, like, stubbornness, it can be a trait that is part of your survival techniques, but also it's something that can also really, really hold you back in life. And, that was something that I learned a lot more about, which obviously I already knew, but when you have it being presented to you in that kind of a way, it's no longer a question of being stubborn. It's like you just don't even feel the need anymore. Like the need was not there of me to be like, oh, let me just shut down here. Like, no, I didn't actually feel like I needed to shut down. Granted, I called you a couple of names here and there under my breath, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't feel like I needed to shut down. It's like a survival technique anymore. So,
Mhm.
and that, as a coach and as a consultant myself, like I look at it as I know that I'm able to help my clients better and like the experiences that we have together and doing these workshops that I do that are in person and doing even retreats that I'm doing in person. I know that by having these skill sets, like it's going to just amplify the help and support that I'm able to give to my clients, which, I was like, I absolutely knew that without question, I needed to be doing this. So, but Mark, you
Right.
have an amazing free gift. So like, tell us all about this free gift that you're giving away here.
So I'm willing to give like half hour, maybe even 45 minutes if it's going well, of my time personally one-on-one to anybody that wants to get on a call and learn more about NLP and how it might work for them, whether it's their business, their personal life, if they want to start coaching, if they are already coaching, however, like if they're a manager at a company, a CEO, anything, like anywhere that you're communicating with people, NLP is going to make you a better communicator. Anywhere you're trying to influence, anywhere you're trying to help people, it's like the tool that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So if you want this amazing free gift with Mark, get on that call. I'm telling you, you're going to learn so much about like how this can actually help you, or even just, signing up as getting, getting some insights on, is this something you want to experience for yourself? Not just like maybe sign up for like a training or anything, but like maybe it's something you actually really want to experience, because I can tell you after one experience for me, I was like, I'm sold. I need to do this. So the word that you need to drop in the comments below is NLP. So if you drop NLP in the comments below, Mark and his team are going to reach out to you and they're going to set you up with that call with him. But definitely make sure that you do this sooner rather than later, because obviously this training is coming up quick, right? So if you're
Mhm.
interested in getting into that, then definitely drop the word NLP below and he will reach out to you and get you into his calendar. Mark, thank you so much again for jumping on the call with us today. Really, really appreciate you being here. And I cannot wait to start the training. I'm like super excited for it.
I can't wait either. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.